Welcome to the Phil Sinclair Investigates podcast. This is episode 2, and I have Moongirl Sarah Garcia with us today. So nice to meet you, Sarah. I've been aware of you, with your social media presence, but I thought let's have a chat. Let's invite you on the show, and she seemed interesting. So I like interesting characters.
She seemed interesting.
She seems interesting. Yeah, so do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, first off, I own my weirdness to the fullest. Medium, but I also do different forms of divination and paranormal investigator, and I also like to act, amongst other little things I dabble with.
Okay, radio. So give us let's start from the very beginning. So let's talk about how you discovered that you had a psychic ability, if you will.
Well, small, I would remember astral projecting. I would remember, which was even worse, was sleep paralysis. I had no idea what it was. I was very, very small. I was a very young child, and I remember just feeling frozen, not being able to move. And I'm Hispanic, so where I'm from, the majority of us are Hispanic and grew up Catholic. So I would tell my parents or my grandparents, and they would just like, no, it's a dream, and dismiss me, and no, it's not true. But it was just so scary for a kid. That's why I'm a huge beacon why I feel like I want to be a beacon and advocate for anyone who's new to spirituality, especially the young generation, because I know how it feels not to have anybody there and to doubt you. Mm-hmm. So that's really important for me off the bat. But yeah, that was really scary. But I always knew and I always felt things and saw things. But what really changed my family's mind was when I was about 13, 14, I had another run of sleep paralysis, but this was probably the worst one. My mom would do a thing where she would turn on the TV super loud in the morning so I can get up for school. And I kind of I don't know, I just felt this thing on me. I saw it looking at me. First it was at a corner, it was dark. Even though I didn't see eyes, I still felt it looking at me. Then it was on top of me, and I was just so scared. And I was like, okay, if I yell, my mom will come in. If I hit the wall, she'll come. I couldn't move. And it seemed like eternity. And finally, when it went away, I just ran out. I told her about it. They didn't believe me. Went to school. Later on, her and my grandma went to go try to put some clothes in my room, and they saw this thing lunging at them. And my grandma, being very Hispanic, she had holy water stuck in her chichi, and she started throwing it out there, and they never doubted me again after that. So that really got them to believe. But yeah, it's been a wild ride for sure.
Definitely got you to where you are now, and it's got you to being confident, which is good about your ability. And do you feel comfortable talking about it? Is it uncomfortable to talk about, or are you quite comfortable talking about?
No, very comfortable. I'm fine talking about it.
That's good. It's a good thing. I know a lot of people. There is a lot of, stigma. When you're saying you've got this ability, people think, oh, she's
crazy.
It's a bit crazy, that one. But no, I don't get me wrong. I don't think you're crazy. I'm just saying that that's it's like only like me when I'm paranoid. I mean, I don't have no psychic ability. I sense if I'm in a building that's haunted, I can sense the room change, and I can sense that there's something here with me, but I can't say, oh, that's this or I'm sensing a male, or I'm sensing a female, or a child, or anything like that. But do you think that a psychic ability could be nurtured?
Absolutely, and I do think that you are very intuitive. I think you nurture it more. I do think you are intuitive. I think every psychic, so everybody has abilities, but Some of us embrace them more. Some of us are more open to them. Other people just choose to not acknowledge them. Like, I'm sure so many of us have had a dream and then it happens, and you're like, oh wow, that's just so funny. What a coincidence. I had a dream and this happened. Or you know, you have that gut feeling about something and it happens. Or you're thinking about somebody and then you get a phone call from them and you're like, oh no, no, it's not a coincidence. You know, it's also the power of manifestation, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if people's like it, but you say if I've been working and I've just drifted off into you know, into my own thoughts, and I think to myself, oh, I haven't seen that person, and this has happened must have happened about more than 10 times in my life, that I've randomly thought of this person. I've not seen this person in years, but this person's just popped into my head, and you can guarantee that day that person I've just thought about turns up. And
Yeah.
it's a very and that has, when you just funny when you brought that up, that has happened. I mean, I don't know if anyone else out there that's happened to you, but it's happened to me on many occasions.
To them, but again, they choose to think it's a coincidence, and you know, some people don't want to acknowledge it, or they're just not ready. They're not mentally prepared about knowing that there could possibly be psychics or, you know, mediums, because there's a difference, but whatever, that's just a whole nother story. But anyways, yeah, everyone is with a gift. Some of us, you know, are just more open to it. Some of us are more, maybe I would say more advanced. I don't really want to say more gifted. Well, I guess some people are very gifted, but more advanced. So they're able to tune into that. They've mastered that somehow, or mastered it even more. And so they're able to see things or feel things. But everybody has that sense of intuition. You just need to really nurture it. And again, like I told you, I feel like you do, and you just need to nurture it a little bit more.
Well, we can try. It's just the thing is with me, it's I'm my style of paranormal investigating. I'm very 50-50 down the middle, and I don't I don't jump to conclusions straight away. If something happens, like say something's thrown across the room or a door slam.
That's how you're going to be regardless.
Yeah, just but there is paranormal investigators out there that every single thing that happens is paranormal. You know, and it's you have to be logical. They have to be logical, and
absolutely.
And when you get a moment where you're in a room and something's been thrown and there's no explanation, that is incredible. That is it's incredible. But going back to when I thinking about people I've not seen for a long time and they turn up, I don't think, is that a psychic ability? Is that me? Is that my ability? What I have? You know, is that, you know, you know, if you work on it, that's what I'm trying to say. If you work on it and embrace, and you know, that's what it's all about. You know, so you read a tarot, don't you, as well?
Yes, I do different forms of divination. And the way, like I said, I also am a paranormal investigator, but the way I like doing it, besides going in there as a medium, whatever I feel or see, or if I'm connecting with people who've passed or whatever, I also do a thing where I haven't seen people do this before. I've seen people use Ouija boards and I've seen people use pendulum, which is fine. But I've never seen somebody do an actual investigation readings with different divinations on a haunted location. And that's what I like doing more so myself personally as an investigator versus using equipment. Now, we all use equipment. That's cool. That's fine. I like the voice box and stuff like that. But me personally, that's how I like to do it, because I feel I get more downloads and I get more clarity, more detail, more information doing it that way.
So what's your opinion on a Ouija board? And is you...
Well, look, I hate that everybody always talks smack about the Ouija board, because They're like, oh my God, that's evil. It opens portals. It's just a divination. All
But
this
where
is
do you think that came from? It,
a lot of Hollywood stuff, to be honest.
so, me personally, I think The Exorcist is
Yeah.
the reason why the Ouija board, you know, you'll be bringing Captain Howdy.
On the Ouija board, yes.
Yeah. But, you know, it's, but like I say, I never, if somebody came to me to Paranormal Investigation and said, right, Phil, I've brought this with me and I want to use this, I would never say, I'm not using that, that doesn't work. Yeah. Try it. If you want to use that, try it. You know, I'm open to equipment, I'm open to psychic ability, anything at all. I mean, you know, I'm up for if you want to dance around a fire naked, conjuring, you know, something, you know, if that, I mean,
not done. No.
It goes back. All different cultures have their own methods of contacting and you know, just what I'm trying to say. You can't trying to how they think about the dead, how they approach, you know, the afterlife. Yeah. You know, that's what we've all got our own different opinions. And so let's go back to tarot then. So for people who doesn't know out there, can you just give a little brief explanation to what that is?
Like I said, everything is divination, whether it be tarot, Ouija board, pendulum, oracle cards, rune readings, casting of bow. It's all divination, and you use this to, you know, I guess you want to say predict the future, look at the past, but we all have free will. So just because you're a reader and they tell you, oh my God, this is going to happen, it's not set in stone. You know, right. It's like a heads up. You have the power, because we have free will, to kind of, you know, do something where we can change that. It's like a warning, which I really do like. Because if you ever go to a reader and they tell you this is going to happen, it's going to happen, then I'm going to be honest with you, they're full of crap, because that's not true. You know, you have the power to change this.
Yeah. So I once went to a palm reader. You know, somebody who reads like the palm of your hand, and they basically, this was a lot of years ago. I must have been.
Well, there's two ways to read the palm. One, you can read your, you know, the lines and creases of your fingers and stuff like that, and the other one is to actually read your you know, the lines and your actual shape of hand and stuff. So there's two different ways you can do that.
Yeah. So I went to this, she claimed to be a palm reader. She read my palm and she was, you know, doing this across the creases in your palm. And she told me that in my lifetime, I would have 7 lovers. And after the 7th lover, I would kill myself. I would commit suicide. So is that, I don't think that is information you should be giving, or it is do you think that's a wrong way of doing that?
Well, when you go to a reader, you go for whatever reason, but ultimately it's because you want to know information about yourself or about people around you. If that's what you felt you needed to tell you, or he, I guess, but I don't really want to scare anybody. Me personally, I don't want to scare anyone. I'll tell them, look, you know, maybe the wording wasn't right.
Have you ever done like a tarot reading and like negative cards have come through?
Absolutely. And the thing is, I'm never gonna lie. I always tell people, look, are you sure? Especially when I do couple readings. By couple, like, you know, husband, wife, partner, whatever. Husband, wife, whatever. I feel uncomfortable doing those, but I do it anyway. For you, because I'm not gonna lie to you, whatever comes out comes out. Are you both prepared for this? Because the majority of the time, I'm gonna be honest with you, there could be some philandering, and if you want me to tell you the truth about whatever, you're both here, I'm gonna say it. So I'll say the truth and take it. I mean, that's what you,
well, like, I suppose that's what they've come for, you know.
I've had people argue on the phone. They're like, no, I'm not. Oh, like, oh, yes, I knew it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so uncomfortable. But they paid for a service, and I'm going to give them the truth.
Well, that is, I mean, I suppose it's how you word it. You're not going to sit them down and go, right, I see death.
Well, the death card doesn't necessarily mean death. It means metamorphosis, you know, changing, you know, endings of stuff, Scorpio energy. So, yeah.
Right. So let's move on to star signs then from there. So you're a firm believer, aren't you, in star signs and what they mean and things?
Oh, yes. I really like astrology a lot. I definitely, you know, dabble in astrology. And,
yeah, it's I.
Go ahead.
When I read the star signs, when I read mine, I think that's very much like me, and then I read the others, and then I think, no, that doesn't match my personality, and I do believe that there is some truth in astrology, you know. So I'm a Capricorn. Can you give anything, any traits for a Capricorn?
Absolutely. Actually, I have a son that's a Capricorn, so I know you guys all too well.
Tell me all about it.
Well, let's go back really quick because of what you said. You said that you read other stuff and you're like, wait, that doesn't resonate with me. Now, remember, we have a lot of different signs in our chart besides your sun sign. What you're going by is just your sun sign. This is like your overall, okay? And there's so many, but your top 3 that I always recommend people at least to just dabble with because those are important would be your sun, which is what you already know, your moon. This is how you articulate your emotions, also signifies relationship with mother, and then your rising, which is how you appear to the outside world and your physical appearance, okay? Those are your top 3, but if you really want to dabble into love, I would recommend you to go for your Venus sign, you know, because some people look through, they want to know about their love life, and then like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Well, try your Venus sign, because Venus is all about what? Love, and that's what you're looking for, love, okay? But going back to you, you are the Devil card in tarot.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we've started interesting from there. Go on.
No, most Capricorns, well, you guys are earth signs, so you're very grounded. Stability is important to you. You take your work very seriously, whether it be an actual job or if it's a personal project. So what you view important to you is extremely important, in other words, okay? You guys, I feel like you guys kind of put out this outer shell, like you want to look a certain way, but inside you're a bit different. You're more playful inside versus what you portray to the outside world. Do you know what I mean? But I think you guys are secretly sweet.
We do his best. We do his best as Capricorns. We try his best. But yeah, which star sign is the most? You know, which is the most? How can I put this? The most evil, nasty, bad. If that's a thing.
You can't put me on the spot like that. Look, we all have good traits and bad traits, no matter what sign we are.
Yeah, I'm sure Capricorn. I mean, I've got plenty of bad traits, and you know, it's. But we all have. I don't think there's anybody out there that's absolutely perfect.
But then again, remember, we also need to take in consideration what's, you know, in our chart, the other stuff too. So, like, if we're gonna go by that, I would go like, you know, your moon sign or something like that, by your emotions and stuff. But yeah, we all have good traits, we all have bad traits, so I can't really just pin it down to one that's evil and one that's good.
No. I probably would have worded that wrong. You know, just which one's got the more worse traits than another. You know, that's what I'm kind of getting. I wasn't getting at, you know, an Aquarius is you know,
my personal opinion, not my personal opinion, My mom happens to be this sign as well, but I know a lot of people are not too crazy about the Gemini signs. Now, I'm not, that's not my personal opinion, but I know a lot of people who dabble in astrology or, zodiac signs and stuff. And yeah, some people may not be very happy with Geminis all the time.
Right, we'll move on from that before we upset you.
All the Geminis are going to come and hate me now.
Yeah, but no, I want to do this show from somebody what knows nothing about the paranormal, what might want to listen to this, and I want, this whole point of this podcast and these interviews is just to talk to people from all different backgrounds of the paranormal and just explain what they do, basically. We all don't just sit, well, we do, but the paranormal investigating is not all just walking in empty rooms, calling out, talking to yourself and seeing if something happens. There's all different methods of doing it, and this is all the point of the podcast. This is just so people have a look into all different methods, and we're talking about tarot, we're talking about astrology, which is all good stuff. So let's talk about so you say that you're a witch. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. You say it says in your biography that you're a witch. Okay. So
Stalker. No, just kidding.
Well, I have to have an idea about who I'm talking to. And I saw this person is a witch. So can you give a little brief explanation to what part?
Everybody has their own opinions and their own how do you say what's the word how they describe themselves. To me, a witch, for me, what I do is I do like to dabble in spell work. I do like working with the earth. I do like messing with divination and stuff like that. So I'm not per se religious. I'm not
just
like
stop you there. You keep using the word divination. Now that seems to be a key word. Can you give a little explanation to what that word is?
Just using different tools to communicate with the dead, or just get spiritual messages. So that's what I like to do. There's so many categories. Like, if you want to call yourself a divination witch, that's what you like to dabble. You want to call yourself a kitchen witch, you work with herbs and the earth. You want to call yourself a gray witch, that you don't feel like you're. Some people want to do maybe not the nicest work, and some people want to do lighter work, but there really isn't no light and dark. I don't know how to explain that. It's more like whatever you choose to put out there in the universe. So you call yourself a gray witch, or electric witch. There's just so many. A moon witch, you do a bunch of moon rituals. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it depends on what you want to name yourself, what do you want to I mean, like I said, there's different definitions. Everyone has a different definition of what a witch, or what kind of witch they are. So to me,
I understand. Yeah. So you get like a black witch. Are they the most? Are they?
Well, there is people who choose to do a lot of maybe not very nice things.
Yeah. So they get into witchcraft to perform, like, for negative reasons.
Yeah, some people definitely do. Other people don't. I mean, it all depends on the person personally. And I mean, to each its own. No judgment here. I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's on them.
Yeah. It's yeah. It's just the reason why I ask. The reason why it's for people out there. If when I said, you say you're a witch, I know in people's minds they're going to think, oh my God, she's like the witch from Wizard of Oz, she rides on a broomstick, and it's not. That is not. That is
if
just.
I could, I would ride on a broomstick, but I can't.
Yeah, but we all would. We all would. But this is what Hollywood has done.
Yeah.
this is what this is. You know, Hollywood has depicted the Ouija board as being this evil thing that conjures the most evil demon from the Middle East, and Hollywood has given witches the you know, like Wicked Witch, and you know, so let's talk about witchcraft in the 1600, yes. Do you think that the women there were witches, or do you think?
Honestly, with the whole like Salem thing and everything, I think the majority of them were not. I think maybe there was a few who were. I really don't think they were. And these poor women were hung and persecuted for no reason, to be honest. Because I really don't think a bunch of these poor women, they were just, it's like anyone who was upset with you can just accuse you of being a witch or whatever. And boom, there you are.
Yeah, I just think it was just a form of domestic abuse. You know, just kind of like, yes, this say a person's wife. I don't like this woman no more. She's she's done something.
And they can just accuse you.
They also accuse children as well.
Yeah.
You know, like I read a case of a child where what got accused of being a witch, and they was accused of conjuring something inside a doll, and these people, they honestly thought this doll, this child had conjured a spirit. Where they lived, this colony of people, bad things was happening to them, like, you know, the weather, and you know, just the food crops didn't grow and things like that, and then a child has put a demon in a doll, and you know, it's just their way of explaining things, and a poor child has died.
A lot of people, you know, they were scared of things back then. And again, it was very easy for them to, if they didn't like somebody, they could just accuse them of being a witch, and people really wouldn't question it. And it was ridiculous. A lot of people lost their lives for no reason.
Definitely, you know, and people with like deformities and disabilities and things like that, you know.
Yeah, you had Tourette's, if you had, you know, autism, you had, I mean, there's so many things back then we didn't know about. We didn't know how to, you know, what they were. So they would automatically think it's witchcraft or a demon's possessed you. You know, again, if we go back what we had talked about in a prior conversation, like mental institutions, you know, they would just dump anybody there. If they thought you were, you know, gay, if your husband was tired of you, if whatever, you know, you didn't want to, you were born with a disability, they would throw you in there and you were tortured.
Mm-hmm. But this behavior goes back thousands and thousands of years. If the weather was bad, the crops wasn't growing, they thought, in certain civilizations, they thought that their god is angry, and that they have to, especially the Mayans, they believed that if they gave a blood sacrifice to appease this god, that things would go back to where the food, the crops will grow, the weather would change, you know, they wouldn't have the hurricanes and, you know, such things, you know. And it's just, and we're still that I mean, we're not sacrificing people, but that mentality of having to have an explanation for things still exists today, I feel. You know, if we can't understand, it's saying, it's kind of, well, I'll probably get going down a rabbit hole with this, and but it's like death. Okay, somebody dies, and a human being can't process how a person has died, and does that mean that their spirit comes back and it is still there, or is it gone forever? You know, it's a person dies, and we have to have that person still here, regardless of, you know, there's and all civilizations thought all had an afterlife. The Egyptians, especially, you know, and I think that they mummifying people and giving them sending them to the afterlife gives them comfort, and that is just one way of, I feel, of explaining death. I know explaining death. Do you feel, in your opinion, that there is an afterlife?
I think we're all energy, and some of us do reincarnate. I'm a big firm believer in reincarnation. And I think some of us reincarnate and some of us don't, but we're just energy. So maybe we're just, and other people, they're just so stuck here in this world and they're just stuck, the spirits, or whatever you want to call them. I think there is something out there. What it is exactly, I don't know, but I do think that there's more. There has to be more. Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with energy. It's like when we've spoke before, like sanatoriums with that all that negative energy. The walls, the ground, the earth is soaking all that negative energy. It has to still linger there.
Yeah, and people are very naive, thinking if they break down the building, it's just going to magically disappear. No, it's not.
Yeah,
That energy,
let's burn down the building. That'll get rid of it. No, it's still
yeah.
there. It's in the ground. It's soaked into the trees. It's soaked into the stone. It's soaked.
To me, honestly, I think if anything, you're making it worse,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's stuff.
I agree. I agree that if you knock down a building, that is only going to anger. Paranormal activity is going to heighten doing things like that. To get rid of a paranormal, do you think there is a way to rid
Some
energy?
things, no, I think you can help people, certain souls, certain spirits that are still lingering around. You can help them try to cross over and move forward, but other things you just can't. Like, say it's a demon, that's a different story. Something that was never from this world. I mean, that would be a very hard. You would need a demonologist, and if that would even work. Other things like everything leaves an imprint. It's just the energy, the negative energy. Sometimes you can't get rid of certain things. You just can't. Other
If you
people, like,
get a spirit that doesn't want to go,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
if you get a spirit that doesn't want to go, then it
Doesn't want to go.
it won't go. It's simple as that.
And sometimes they don't go for several reasons. Like, one, maybe they weren't the best of person here on Earth, and maybe they're scared of the consequences if they try to move forward. Other ones, they just don't know they passed on. Things happen really fast. Other people, it's like residual. Remember what we spoke about too? Like it's just like a back and forth. It's just never ending cassette. So there's different reasons. But I mean, sometimes you can't get rid of something, and that's just period.
No, it can't. No, it can't. You can. You can learn to. If you're haunting, I mean, there's plenty of people out there what's living with hauntings.
Yeah.
Where I am now, I'm convinced that there's a spirit, an old lady, with where I'm living now at the minute. When I first moved in, doors opening on their own, and we did a paranormal investigation in here. We brought a psychic medium. I've never met this psychic before. I've never met it. First time she'd ever come, and she didn't know my story or anything. She walked in here and she said, "I can see an old lady in a pink dressing gown in here." And yeah, and she's still here. She's still. She doesn't bother me, but the psychic medium thought that this old lady wasn't attached to the building. She was attached to me, and she thought that it was my nan, who just passed away a few months prior to that. And she did have a pink dressing gown, uh, nightgown, and then we did a spirit box, and then we asked who we're talking to, and it said Margaret, and that was her name.
Aww.
Crazy. So do you think spirits can attach to certain people?
Yes.
So do you think do you feel?
But it's not so much. I don't think it's. Some of them do attach themselves to people, because they recognize your light, as well. The way I like to articulate things with this per se, it's like, say, and I always use this as an example. Like, say that you're at a family gathering and all of a sudden you have a heart attack and you die.
Mm-hmm.
You could your physical body, you could see everyone around you, you're trying to get attention, no one pays attention to you, so you go outside, you're yelling random people, no one pays attention, then we lock eyes and you're like, I know you saw me, so you're trying to, like, you're there in my face. You're not trying to, like, do any harm to me, but you're like, that I see you, acknowledged you, and no one else could. You're like, okay, this is somebody I need to, like, leech onto, because, latch onto, whatever, because I know they can see me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And other times it's not that they're attached, like they're not, like, haunting you. It's like they're just here to visit you, and they show up, and their energy's still there.
This might sound a little bit out there, but have you ever seen a full-bodied apparition, an intelligent, and it's it's talking to you?
Look, the way I get messages, several different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I hear things, or I hear a buzzy noise. Actually, I always had trouble with my ears when I was a kid. I would always go to the doctors, and we checked. I was even scared I had, like, a tumor in there or something. I mean, but there's nothing wrong with me. So I would hear, like, I would go death, or a T sound, and that's, when they want to communicate or they're around, you're connecting to the higher. So there's one way, okay? Another way, sometimes I'll smell stuff. Sometimes I'll actually see, like, a picture just run through my head. Other
Mm-hmm.
times I'll see a full-on apparition. Other times I just know it's there. But yeah, I've seen full-on apparitions. There's only been, I'm going to be honest with you, there's only been two or three times where I was really tricked, thinking it was an actual person or thing, because it just looks so real. Other times I'm able to kind of tell it's not something that is alive, or someone that's alive.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to answer people's general questions. You've seen the film The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
That child has a psychic ability.
Yes.
And he sees people and they're interacting with him, and that's not the case for you.
Sometimes you see them, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I hear them, or I feel them, or I sense them, or they touch me.
So you can hear, like, a whisper in your ear, and you said kind of like a buzzing, and
my ear gets red.
Yeah.
It gets really red, or it gets hot, and to me it's like they're trying to yell, like, they want my attention, or they feel like they haven't been heard.
Yeah.
Different ways. It's not always the same for me. I don't know how everybody has different. It's fun knowing other mediums and or psychics, or whatever you want, clairvoyance, whatever you want to call yourself. Everyone has a different definition of that as well. Because we're like, okay, well, I can do this, or I can do this. What's your whatever gift, or whatever you want to talk about, or you want to say it. But yeah, I get messages in different ways.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is your
times as well. And even when I do my lives, I'm like, I love going on my nature trail walks. I love being out in nature. It relaxes me and stuff, and I get lots of downloads. And I'll, like, smell something just really quick, and I'm like, okay, it's out of the ordinary. Or sometimes the smell will linger, and I know there's nothing there, and I'm like, okay, this means this to me, or I'm getting a message or whatever. And then I'll go on my live and tell people what I felt or saw, or the message I received and stuff like that.
So let's go onto your live stream. So say you're doing a live stream, and a random person you've never met, say I popped onto your live stream, but you didn't know me, and they say, have you got a message for me? Would that even possible, or would you need to see that person in person?
No, okay. So first off, when I first started doing my lives on my old page, I would get on there and just do little readings, different readings for, somebody would get a card, somebody will get like a bone, somebody will get like a ruin or whatever, or tarot or whatever, it doesn't matter. But that just became a little too much for me because it's just so much energy being thrown at you, and then they're bringing in if people are coming in. So now I normally do general readings, but if I feel that there's something, like if the energy is being thrown at me and I'm like, okay, I feel like there's somebody who passed on here, I don't know, or I'm getting the name of whatever, whoever, I'll just say it to them. I'm like, if it resonates, let me know. Or I'm feeling that somebody here is having trouble with their, cancer. I feel like someone here has colon cancer around. I'll say it, and then they'll tell me in the comments. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't, please, when I'm asking you these questions, I don't.
No, not at all.
Please take it with a grain of salt. I'm not sat here.
No.
I've not.
I don't defend it easily.
I've not invited you on this show to make you.
You've been very sweet and a gentleman, so no, not at all.
Well, I aim to be that way. So. You told me that before we move on to that. So what the point of that you're saying is basically a smaller group of people would be better than say if 50 people turned up to you all taking messages.
Yeah, because also, being an empath, you get everyone's emotions and stuff thrown at you, and sometimes it physically can make you ill, or it's just so much emotion, it makes you cry. Like I've gone to places and stores and I've literally had to leave like a shopping cart full of groceries where there's just a lot of energy where I've kind of had to like pinch my arm to make myself not cry because I felt like all this emotion and I just had to take off. It was just a lot. And now people have asked me this before in other like podcasts or whatever, and I've never really open about it. They've asked me like, what's the, is there anything bad about feeling or seeing things? And I'm always like, no, it's great. I've never had a problem. But, I feel like I really have to say it here. There is a darker side to that because, and I've told you this before, life can be very hard and cruel for everyone, but especially if you feel or know more than the average person. And it can be very lonely, it can be very depressing, and you could go through all these emotions where you just want to be isolated. And even then when you are isolated, there's like spirits trying to get your attention, and it's like sometimes you don't have that peace. So a lot of people have noticed this, who are psychics or mediums or whatever they want to call themselves, have suffered from like depression. And I have, because it's a lot. Sometimes it's a lot for the average person to take in. And you already have, your life. That's a separate thing. And then having to deal with all this stuff and then other people's stuff, it can be very emotional. Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically, you can absorb somebody's sadness.
Yeah, or you feel it.
Yeah, and you feel that. What's that practice? Is it Reiki? Where you?
This is empath, and talking about being an empath, not Reiki.
Yeah. So that I know that Reiki is. You're absorbing somebody's.
Well, I don't do Reiki. I don't do Reiki. No.
And is that for a particular reason?
I don't do it. That's not my
thing.
I have enough of stuff on my plate.
Yeah, I just thought, just because I'd had that done.
Yeah.
Reiki.
No, I have a good friend of mine. I love her to death, one of my best friends, and she tries to do Reiki on me and stuff like that, which is great. I feel like I have too much stuff to take on, so I'm like, it's gotta let somebody else mess with that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying when they did it to me, they literally just put their hands on me.
Yeah. Or above you, kind of over you.
And I didn't understand what that did. are they absorbing my energy and removing it, or
kind of like trying to calm your body. How do I say it? I'm having a hard time balancing your emotions, balancing your chakras and stuff like that, basically.
yeah. No, if you don't practice that, then it's hard. It's hard to explain. I appreciate that. It's just I had it and I didn't feel any better, or I just felt I've just paid for somebody to put their hands on me. And I was, but it might work wonders for somebody, but it's all
different for different folks. I mean, so what works for other people may not work for you, and vice versa.
Definitely.
And then again, if they actually did a proper job, that's another thing too.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, I understand that. So we'll move on to what I'm trying to say. So when I spoke to you the other day, you said that you had an experience where you saw an energy or something, or you saw a fuzzball or something.
Oh, you're talking about the how do you say the dwindlings,
Yeah.
I'm big into cryptozoology and mythological creatures and cryptids. I'm huge into that. I've always heard it. It's a big thing here where I'm from. I'm in South Texas. I'm in I like to call it the butthole of Texas.
What? No comment.
Basically at the border, but
where I'm from is the butthole of the United Kingdom, so we're all okay.
The butthole.
Yeah, we're all there. We're all there, and I can totally understand what you're saying.
And I've seen some weird stuff. And I've heard people talk about the dwindlings, and I've never seen it, so I was like, okay, but I do believe in fairies and gnomes and stuff like that, whatever. But I had never seen that, so I was like, okay, well, I'm probably never gonna see it. And I went to the restroom, and it literally looked like a little fuzz ball, like a little like afro. I don't know. And this was about 2 years ago, so it's not even when I was a child, and I was not expecting to see this. And I could feel that little whatever it was, energy and my energy. We both like kind of looked at each other and just jumped back. I had no idea what it was. I was like, okay, what is this? Maybe it's a mouse, maybe it's a rat, but I didn't have any of that in my house. And then I kind of tried to chase it. There's no escaping. It's my door, and then that's it. It was a restroom, and it magically disappeared. And I was like, what in the world was that? And
was it being, or was it paranormal?
I don't. Well, it's some kind of paranormal. I don't know what it is exactly. They say it's like people want to call it like a little gnome or something, dwindling. But I saw it a couple of times running underneath my bed. And this was for a few months, or running around. And I was like, oh my God. And I saw it. I never get to get close to it to like get it, but I tried to set little traps. I even got like little mouse sticky traps to see if I can like catch it. I think it's definitely very intelligent. I don't know what it is. I never got a full picture of it, but it literally looked like a fuzz ball, like a little black frizzy fuzz ball. And after a few months, I never saw it again. And that was the first time.
What's the Bigfoot community like down where you are at Texas? Is it?
Well, I'm sure like it's not much here where I'm at. Like I said, I'm way down here, but parts up in Texas, I'm sure there's a firm belief. But I believe in Bigfoot, so that's
I personally I believe that there has been. I think more in my there has been a species of Bigfoot. There has been. I don't know so much now. I think it might have been a species which was dying out, and that 1960s Gimlin footage.
Yeah,
I think that's legit.
There's a lot of theories with Bigfoot. They've also been associated with like UFOs. Like when they've spotted a UFO, it just that they also had spotted around that same time, around the same area, a Bigfoot. So there's all these theories, like, is it an alien? Is it a species, like a cryptozoology kind of thing that you'd never, but then we would have found a body. Then there's just so many theories, but I do believe that it did exist. It does exist somewhere. I don't know. There's so many places that we're never going to be able to go, like the Appalachian Mountains, to really go in there and look. It's just so much vegetation for us to go in there. It could be dangerous. There's so many things that are undiscovered, and we probably will never find out about the true origins of all these things.
Well, today, aliens was going to be coming today, apparently to a news article I read yesterday. Aliens was today was the day that, well, there's still time, but today aliens is the day they return, or I'm still waiting for the moment, but
it was last night. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but people say that aliens are coming back, but I think they've already been here a long time ago.
They've always been here, I feel, to be honest. There's different species of aliens, just like there's, like ethnicities. We're all like either black or white, but like that. There's different species. Some of them look like us. Some of them have been like they bred with us, so we look kind of alike as well. I think they've always been here. There's the reptilians as well. Like we spoke before, I always thought the chupacabra, the one that they talked about back in '94, not the dog-looking one, the other one. I always thought that was a reptilian alien. I still think that.
Mm-hmm. I was watching a program and it was talking about human evolution, and they can't pinpoint. They've got the evolution, the scale of like ape and then man, but they can't pinpoint that.
Aliens.
Yeah. Precisely. That is what aliens have come, and they have altered the DNA of.
Absolutely, I do think that. Absolutely.
Because they can't. They were saying if that was true, evolution, then all species would continue to evolve.
Yeah, we haven't.
And you don't see dolphins walking on dry land, adapting out the water, and that might be a bit of a seismic evolution, but I don't know about you, but I don't see gorillas.
Yeah, what makes us so bloody
gorillas
special?
Are still gorillas. They're not.
Yeah, what makes us so bloody special? It's very naive of us to think that.
Or there's something come from a meteor, a germ, or come down, and it will drive me mad.
Well, if they really wanted to kill us right then and there, they would have sent like a horrible virus. But then again, we have Corona. So, but I feel like they want to come here. Some of them, like the higher dimensional beings, the ones that are just don't even have a body, they don't have a vessel, they're just a soul because they're so advanced. I think they actually want to help humanity. I feel like there's others who, like the Greys and other stuff like that, who actually want to experiment, test on us, breed with us. I don't think they want to kill us. I think they maybe want to, like I said, do experiments and stuff.
If aliens wanted to kill us, they'd have killed us a long time ago.
Because they could have just done something easily, like given us some horrible virus that would have wiped us all out. There's so much stuff up there.
I think that they're monitoring us, how we're getting on, but I also think that aliens, etc., ETs, have helped the human race.
Absolutely.
Then at some point in time, the human race have turned on said ETs, and they've gone. They've just said, we're not having this. We're going. We're not helping these no more.
Damn humans.
Yeah, but the universe is massive. There's no reason why there's not another planet like Earth out there somewhere.
Yes. And not only
And
that,
it may have human beings.
yes,
And
there are
can you
other things
imagine?
besides aliens. And besides aliens,
Can you imagine a spaceship coming, a craft, and it's a human being
yeah.
from another world? What would happen? What would happen? What would we accept this person with open arms, or would we try to kill him?
Well, the way we are, unfortunately, I think people would probably try to kill it
Yeah.
instead of, or asking it questions and stuff. And people, they fear what the unknown, unfortunately. And I don't know. I think it would be very ignorant for us to think that
I definitely believe Roswell was a thing.
yeah.
Because I know that was because the newspapers reported it was a real thing. And then the day after, it was like, oh no, we was wrong.
My bad. It was a balloon.
Yeah. So sorry about that in-depth detail about it being a circular craft and there were 3 alien. So it was just a fragment of my imagination. Sorry about that. Just a balloon, by the way.
Yeah.
What? I mean, what have people, have them people, have they all got together and gone, right, guys, this is what we're going to say, this craft's come down. And, and it's come down in the desert as well. And that's probably more likely where something like that would. I mean, an alien craft is not going to come in the middle of a city where everyone, it's going to be,
yeah.
It's going to be where it's hidden in the desert.
Absolutely.
And definitely, and I still think that craft is out there somewhere, and I still think those aliens are in a freezer somewhere. I think that we're using me talking to you now is alien technology.
Well, they had to come from somewhere. Period. I do think they've been in cahoots with the government all this time, honestly, because there's no way in hell we could have gotten all this knowledge out of nowhere.
The human race. I've totally gone off topic, but I'm on a roll. The human race in 100 years, in 100 years, has
evolved
incredibly in 100 years, and the human race has got to have acquired some intelligence, some like technology is still evolving, and
continue. I predicted there was going to be something huge, at least 2 things that's going to be groundbreaking. One of them is going to have to do with technology and the health system. I predicted last year sometime on my YouTube. So there will be some big things to come. Absolutely. The 2 of significance. Really big ones. We'll see.
Do you think like virus or?
Well, actually, back in February, I was doing a video for Aquarians, and I did predict that there was going to be something because I kept hearing that song "We Are the World" from Michael Jackson, and it was just a completely different video, had nothing to do with anything, and I wasn't going to say it, but my phone was going to die, so I said, I keep hearing the song "We Are the World." I feel like there's going to be something huge coming that's going to shake up the world, and I felt like a group of countries or cities were going to come together for something. Full disclosure, I had no idea what that was. I just knew it was going to be something globally because I kept hearing that song. And then we got Corona the month afterwards or whatever. But I did not know. I was thinking in my head, honestly, I was like, God, I hope it's not a war or something crazy like that. But here we are. And after that happened, I did predict that there was going to be more outbreaks, either a really bad one because it's mutated or other ones. And the timeline I couldn't give, but I knew that one of them was going to be detrimental. So hopefully we'll all be gone by then. But then again, Delta that came up already. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah.
It's a very interesting one. This there has. I don't want to get. No, I'm not going down that road. But I'm.
We'll have that conversation, a private conversation then.
Yeah, it's very controversial, but
Yeah.
it's hard. I can't. I want to say what I think, but
We'll talk about it later.
I run the risk of upsetting people, and I'm not all about that. I keep. I'll talk about my opinions about ETs and ghosts, and but you know, but very. I like to keep my political thoughts in. We don't. You know, it's politics is politics. Politics to me is a very, very negative thing. Politics. It turns friends into enemies, families against each other. You know, like I had a friend, and we got on really well. We had a lot in common. We were really good friends. And then one day we got into talking about politics, and our views are completely different. And they're like, he thought this way, and I thought, and it was just, you know, it's just, and then you disagree with each other, and it's like, let's just not talk about this, and let's just focus on what.
Let's be adults. Just because you disagree on that doesn't mean that you can't still be friends. We're all adults.
But
some people
there, if you think one way, and it's like that in the
way.
paranormal, and it's like that in anything. People that don't agree with you, they make it their mission to change your mind.
Yeah.
And
this is also when I do like readings and stuff, or people who come in who don't believe. First off, I always say, like, I'm not here to change your mind, honey. Like, you come to me, so obviously you're interested. But I would never try to force my opinions or my beliefs on anybody. You know, if you're open to it, awesome. If you're not, that's cool. I mean, different strokes for different folks. No big deal. Let's move on. But some people like being confrontational and like, you know, starting things, and I'd rather, no. That's okay.
no, I'm the same. People, if they've got a faith, and they get comfort from that faith,
who am I to mess with that? That's none of my business.
I would encourage that person to carry on with that faith, and I would never turn around and say, no, that's you don't want to be doing that. You want to be doing this. This is what you're doing. Because I'm that arrogant that I think what I believe is the right.
And if it's wrong, yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know how we've got here. So, aliens, Bigfoot.
The owl man.
But like I say, I do think. I do agree with what you say. I do think that's something big, something probably not catastrophic. But I do think something big is going to come, and it's going to change if it hasn't already.
Well, I think that was a big shakeup. It was meant to happen, and I've said this before. Whether we call it here in Texas the Rona, whether that happened or not, something huge was going to happen, regardless, to shake up the world. I really do think that was going to happen. Unfortunately, it took this, and it hurt a lot of people, and I do think that this was a big shakeup. It was a big lesson for the universe to learn, for all of us to learn not to take things or people for granted, and to be grateful for what we have. I think there will be a big change, but I don't see it from something horrible. I see it like movement, moving, building something new. Okay, that's what I feel. And I've also even said this before I go, even though schools and works opening up, a bunch of people are going to choose to keep their kids at home, choose to work from home, a lot of home-based stuff, a lot of people changing up their diets, wanting to grow their own fruits and vegetables, a lot of home stuff. It was like an eye opener too. People addressing the pink elephant in the room. That's why a lot of people are going to nest this year, or wanting to nest, because a lot of people were very alone, or they were forced to see their partnerships for what they really are. Say you guys hadn't been getting along for the longest time. You're like, okay, we can't keep this anymore. We're quarantined with each other. Obviously, it hasn't been working for years. It's not going to work. It forced everyone to really go within and face, the truth. And that's happened there. And I also feel like a bunch of people are going to, like I said, are going to want to nest and actually get more serious about finding that spouse or partner or whatever they consider a family.
I can see a lot of people going back into the wilderness and living off the land and things like that. Just to
live off the grid. I think also because we'll talk about that other part later too, because that's
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's but the
I don't want to open a can of worms either.
yeah, it's the worms are out. We're just in the worms are out, and what we're doing now, we're putting the worms back in.
We're trying to get back in there,
and we're trying to seal the tin because we're
Gorilla Glue. No.
Yeah, and now we've got the worms back in, and now pretending that
we never talked about this.
It never happened.
Instigators.
What like we need one of those like Men in Black things.
Yeah.
Where they just and it just wipes your mind. Yeah, Men in Black. That's another topic. Is there such thing as the Men in Black? What go to these?
Absolutely. Yes, there is.
And
absolutely.
What just turn up at alleged
trying to keep us knowing certain things and exposing certain things.
Do you remember like seeing the Phoenix Lights video footage? And we're too young to,
I don't remember.
In Phoenix, Arizona, it's like the most famous UFO sighting. It's like the triangular lights, and this massive craft flying over Phoenix, and all
the one New York or something like that, wasn't that the New York one too a long time ago?
Yeah, this Phoenix. If you look it up, the Phoenix, you'll know. It's called the Phoenix Lights, and everybody's like phoning the police, and they're all panicking. They're like, they're saying they're under attack. There's this craft, massive craft, coming like a triangular one, and they had like met people in black suits coming around just saying, yeah, you didn't, what you saw, you didn't see.
Well,
it's all this footage.
Do you remember Unsolved Mysteries back in the day? One of my favorite shows. I loved Unsolved Mysteries. That's really what got me into aliens and and kind of knowing what about spirits and stuff. Well, I mean, I've always felt it, but like that kind of really intrigued me. My point would being with that is, remember they had an episode talking about like Men in Black and how people had seen UFOs or the ETs, and then the Men in Black came and they were harassing them. And this is back then before there was like the cell phones and stuff like that. So they would call from pay phones and call radio stations. I'm being chased by these people, and then those people disappeared. They magically disappeared into the desert, and they were never heard or from again. So, I mean, I really do believe there is Men in Black.
Yeah, and then the Phoenix Lights, the government all like made a joke of it, and they got a guy dressed in the alien in mask and things like that. They're just trying to dampen and the governor who was doing that years later, he said that there was something up there, and I was advised by people to stop the panic and to damage control the situation.
Because all of us, especially at that time, it's too much for us to comprehend that there's other beings out there, and it would just be very chaotic, and everybody would just run amok, and it would just everything would go crazy. So they, of course, they wanted to keep that hush hush, and they still kind of do. But I think people are being more open to it, not just with that, but with everything else, cryptozoology, spirituality, the veil is thinning, seeing spirits, people are being more open to that. So I think it's going to continue to pique people's interest, and they're going to be more open to it for sure.
Something's going to happen, and the government are going to have a really hard time explaining.
Yeah, they're just going to be like, well, there already is undisputed evidence, if you ask me, but I mean, I feel like they just can't say nothing anymore, basically. That's something that's going to happen.
Well, our government in the UK have actually said and released documents stating that, yeah, we have investigated UFOs, and yes, there has been, our military pilots have been chased by things and have found things in the sky, but they are UFOs, like unidentified flying object. Don't know what it is. They're not saying it's aliens.
Yeah, they just said it's
just saying that there's been things in the sky, but we don't know what it is, and I don't know if that's a form of damage control. yeah, Giorgio.
I love Giorgio.
He'll be on the show, Giorgio. Even if I have to pay him.
You know what? I was gonna send you a picture. I did a filter where my face, like I got Giorgio's face put on me. I'm gonna send it to you. It was funny. I was like,
yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, Giorgio.
I love him. I think he's fun.
Yeah,
he's funny.
Yeah, right. Great guy. Yeah, he's definitely got his thoughts, and he's standing by it. He's standing by those thoughts, and he'll not change his mind. He knows what he knows, and that's that. So, well, we're gonna wrap this up now. Is there anything you'd like to add? Anything to this?
Well, thank you. It was very sweet and kind of you to have me on. I appreciate you thinking of me. Thank you very much.
No, it's been good. We've had a very interesting conversation. Yeah, I'd like to say, it's not been my mission to embarrass you or.
No, not at all.
I didn't. It's not my mission to. Let's get this person on and let's just interrogate her and things like that. And you're an interesting person. You've got these beliefs, and you seem pretty open about these beliefs, and you seem pretty confident in what you're doing. So I thought, well, let's tell the people, what is what, and what things is, what the paranormal is. The general public who might have a little interest in the paranormal, but not quite sure what everything is. We're having it being told from the actual people. So it's all good. It's all good stuff. So thank you so much.
Coming up soon. So hopefully we'll dabble into that even more, and I'll post them on my Facebook page or something.
Mm-hmm. So where can people find you listening to this?
Facebook page, Moongirl Tarot and More, and on my YouTube, same name, Moongirl Tarot and More.
So we've got Facebook, Moongirl Tarot, and
Instagram,
YouTube. Just Moongirl
Tarot and More.
Tarot and More.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine there'll be plenty of moon girls on.
Oh my goodness! Yes, there was a lot of moon girls, and I was like, no, there can only be one, like Highlander. Not just kidding.
There can be one. The only thing is, but unfortunately, we all think we're kind of original names, but sometimes I think name for sometimes I might have an idea for a YouTube channel, and I think this is such an original title. Nobody's thought of this title, and then you look and you're like, oh yeah, they have. Yeah, so.
Well, that's why I put and more, because it's not just tarot. Like I said, I dabble in different divinations. I do bone readings and shell readings and ruins, and I like doing obscure divinations. So that's probably what I'm more known for, and of course the paranormal and stuff like that.
And and for your Facebook and YouTube, is it interactive? Live?
Yeah, when I do lives, I'll talk to the people there and stuff like that. Sometimes I will pull cards or whatever. But it's usually I'll do like general readings for them. I love being able to interact with the people who are there. They're very nice to support me, and if I can help them, or if I can, I like having contact with them and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely. I was very at the beginning. When I had another page, and I was very shy to kind of really let people in on certain things. But I was like, you know what? They're taking time out and they support you. I should be more open with my life, and like I'll post stuff when I'm trying to act or whatever, or when I go on my adventures and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely.
And do you post paranormal investigations, or is just
That one, or it's on another network that
are
I
you in
mess
a, are
with.
you in a group paranormal team?
It's more like a network, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I try to go do it on my own, which that's another thing I'm gonna be trying to do them on my own Facebook like page, because those are collaborations. I always think it's very important for you to have your own thing as well. Something that you can always invest in. Collaborations are fun. I love collaborations, but you always have to have your own personal thing to fall back on.
Just you should just find haunted locations where you are. And
I found some. There's like this mental institution I want to go to. It's an abandoned mental institution. It looks
and
like
can you get
ruin.
into that?
I'm gonna sneak in.
There's always a way. There's always a way.
No, there's other ones. There's like Lula Camp or something like that. That's another one here where like it was unfortunately it was a camp, and somebody went in there and killed people. There's a bunch of where there's another one here. It's Mexico, and we're right at the border. I don't know if you ever heard of the story. It's Michael Kilroy. He was killed by people who were dabbling in witchcraft. They wanted to sacrifice. It was a huge thing back in the 80s. I believe 84, 85, 86, something like that, where this poor guy, he went to Mexico. Well, they went to the beach because there's a beach here. We're known for a beach, but it's right next to Mexico, basically. His friends unfortunately left him there. He was kidnapped, and those people were specifically looking for a Caucasian male who tried to do like went to school for doctors and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they got him, they tortured him, they sacrificed him to the devil, and stuff like that. And it was a huge deal here. I would love to go to that ranch because I am a billion% sure there's still a whole lot more bodies there, and dabble in that too. But that can be a little bit dangerous. So I have a list of local places. We do have history here, but of course there's so many places out there. I want to go to the Queen Mary, Pinehurst, this. I want to go to the Island of the Dolls. Those are probably my top 3. If I can get to those, I'd die happy. And we still need to go.
In Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah. That is a very, very interesting place.
I really want to go there as well. So those are probably my top 3 that I really want to go to. But I know myself. I know like the Pinehurst. I'm going to be crying the whole time there. I just know I will. But I still want to go there. And again, the Queen Mary is a big one I want to do as well. And so those are if I can just do those 3, I'll die happy. The rest, I don't mind them being local. I did go to Gettysburg and stuff like that. So I've gone to places here and there. But I have big plans. Hopefully I can achieve.
Yeah, I hope you achieve what you want to do, and just be careful and just don't get anything. Don't get the killer spirit come home with you. And
I'm thinking of protecting myself. And then we still need to go when I make my way to UK. We still need to go on a ghost adventures to go do a couple of ghost investigations.
Well, we'll soon talk.
I'm dragging you with me, whether you like it or not. I'm like, come on, Phil, we're going. Come on.
well, you have to let me know when you come over. So, Moongirl, Sarah, thank you for appearing on the Phil Sinclair Investigates podcast, and thank you everyone for listening. And I will see you on the next episode. Okay then, guys. See you later.
Bye.